Am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend to stop knitting so much?
Yeah, you are probably.
My 30 male girlfriend, 27 female, is really into knitting and has been long before we started dating 3 months ago. At first, it didn't bother me, and I thought it was cool she had a hobby, but then I realized just how much she does it. Granted, she's not pulling out the knitting hook at dinner or anything, but it seems like anytime we're watching TV together or just hanging out at her place, she's always working on some project. She said she needs to always keep her hands busy. It's like fidgeting for her, but I severely doubt that she can be fully present. You don't have to pay attention when you fidget, and she literally always jokes that she doesn't know how to count. What? She claimed that it's not all the time, but it's definitely more often than not. She argued that she can follow TV show plots just fine, but when I quizzed her on some details, she couldn't answer some of the questions, so I think my point stands. Then she said, if it's an important conversation, I obviously put my work down, but I think we have different definitions of what important means. I also told her that I would like to be able to cuddle and physically interact with her during TV time. She said we can still cuddle, but it's literally not the same. I want her to be interested in me, not some pile of yarn. This might be petty, but I think I might feel better about it if she knitted things for me. But it always seems to be bags or clothes for herself or like random squares. She did She did make a pretty cute toy for my dog though. That was actually nice. He switches up so fast. Anyway, I sat her down the other day and told her my perspective, and instead of being willing to compromise, she told me that I'm the one that's not listening to her and essentially called me an asshole. She's a great girl, and I don't want to lose her over this, but also, I'm not sure what to do. Am I the asshole?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Okay, like coming from someone who has ADHD, I can't sit still. I am a fidget. I don't even want to call myself fidgety because if you gave me a fidget spinner, it wouldn't
be enough.
It wouldn't tickle my fancy.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be enough. I have to get up, I have to walk around, I have to have something to eat or drink or like literally play with. Like if I could play with something right now, I would. But Kelly yells at me because you're making too much noise near the microphones. So coming from someone who has been in relationships where people get annoyed that I get up and start walking around during movies or watching TV. And when I get up and I'm like, I'm just going to go to the bathroom, don't pause this because I can't sit still through another minute of it. And then they still pause it and they're like, oh, I'm going to wait for you to get back. Don't. Like, you don't understand. If you don't have it, you don't understand. He doesn't get it. This is just, it could be an ADD thing, an ADHD thing, an OCD thing, a comfort thing. It doesn't matter.
Or just like a fun hobby she wants to do.
It doesn't matter what it is. If she wants to do it, you have to respect that. If you're upset about it and you're self-aware enough to know that you would feel better if she made things for you, maybe present that to her.
Yeah.
Don't present it to us on Reddit. Present it to her and say, I feel like you take up all your time doing knitting and I don't really feel like you give me attention. Maybe I would feel better if you knitted something for me. I'm sure she would say, oh, what would you like me to knit for you? And if she doesn't and she's absolutely like, I knit for me, myself, and I, and you're not part of this, then maybe you should lose her.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like he's just insecure and he feels like she's choosing knitting over him. And I feel like he's giving himself away when he's saying that if she knitted for him, it would make him feel better. And I feel like that's because he feels insecure and he feels like he's not getting attention from her. So when they're watching TV and when she's thinking of things to knit, if she thought of him, he'd be like, oh, well, she's thinking of me. She's still spending time on me, even though she's knitting, but it's something for me. And then the cuddling thing, like, I get that. I get that you want certain times to do hobbies and certain times to cuddle, but maybe that's how you present it to her. Like, maybe you don't ask, stop knitting so much. Maybe you just ask, can we reserve a certain amount of time every week or every day where we just like hold hands and talk or like sit next to each other on the couch and talk with no distractions? Like, maybe that's how you present it instead of just being like, can you stop knitting so much? I just think that he thinks she's choosing knitting over him, and knitting is more exciting and entertaining to her than he is.
Mm-hmm.
At least it's not another guy that she's choosing over you.
Yeah, it could definitely be way worse than her being addicted to knitting, but
I have an addictive personality, so I've definitely gone through.
Too.
I am not even kidding. I was like, actually, I think I was addicted to Sudoku. Or is it Sudoku? Sudoku. I did Sudoku so many times that like when I was driving, I would get the urge to pull out my phone and open the Sudoku app. And I saw another TikTok of a girl who was also addicted to it. It's to the point where when you close your eyes, you see a Sudoku board and you're like filling it in mentally. I did Sudoku so much. I would not watch movies, TV. I wouldn't sit on the couch without being on my phone or in a Sudoku book doing Sudoku puzzles. So I could see how that would be annoying if I was with my boyfriend and he's like, can you just put your phone down and talk to me, or put the book down and talk to me, or can we do this activity together where you're not distracted by a Sudoku book? I get it.
Yeah.
But I do think that he needs to go about talking to her about it in a very specific way. It's definitely a how you say it type thing.
Yeah, you got to figure this shit out. Yeah, I mean, it's not worth losing a relationship over, but you definitely have to talk to her if it's that big of a deal to you.
It might be a phase, too.
Yeah, definitely could be a phase. You only known her for 3 months.
Yeah.
Give it another 3. Report back.